All right, good evening, everybody. Kevin Crouch here with South Metro Weather, and I wanted to just update you on the storms that we have going on across our area. Of course, a short time ago, we had this really what amounted to a brief severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Hill County. Really went from Whitney on over to Hillsborough and south from there. That storm continues to move off to the southeast, and it's kind of been swelling up and then weakening and then swelling up and weakening. That's why I didn't immediately begin severe weather coverage, because that storm, as we see with many, tended to have a quick, relatively brief lifespan in terms of being severe. So what we are seeing, though, is more and more storms that continue to form back here. And one of the things that we were watching for was to see if we were going to get just one round of storms or possibly two. And I talked about this, really talked about a couple of these things in the update earlier. Turns out that was one of the best outlooks that I gave this morning, because these things are unfolding pretty well as was expected. The model, if you remember, gave us about 5 o'clock as a start time, but the difference was that we had these storms pop up earlier, and it was pretty similar just the other day too. I believe it was, what was it, Monday, Tuesday? I think it was Monday, when storms were forecasted later in the evening. Turns out they popped up earlier in the day, so I knew that that was a possibility. We had that happen across Johnson County, and so a couple of things that are going on here, really a few things, is that we're seeing this new development back here, and it's 6:30 right now. This is kind of the timeline, part of the timeline where we expected to see storms developing along the cold front. Now, I don't think the cold front's quite here yet, but we are seeing this other round of storms in the back here developing. Now, some of the question is whether any second round, which could be what we're looking at here, if either of these rounds were going to, well, let me say this. If the second round was going to be hampered by the first, all of this is helping to cool the air, stabilize the air, kind of work over the air, work over the atmosphere. So what happens there is that when you have this first round, oftentimes that will turn over the atmosphere, work it over, stabilize things, so that a second round does not have the instability necessary to create severe weather. So when you see these storms coming through, it's very possible that you could be looking at a situation where the second round is not as intense. Other times, though, that doesn't matter. So it was one of those things we were not really sure how that was going to work out, but right now, it looks like we have pretty consistent storms all through this area that really are going to prevent any kind of second round from really becoming very intense at all. The growing concern now is the concern for flooding, especially in Hill County, where now there is a flood advisory that has been issued. So where we have these storms that have continued on and on and on, training over the same places here in Hill County, and you can see that it's just been constant. But the other thing you see is that it seems like they're hitting a wall of dry air or stable air, something that is preventing them. Got an itch on my chest here, I apologize. Driving me nuts, but you see that they kind of hit a wall here. So there must be some kind of, whether it's the cap trying to hang on in this part of the area, or just some dry air that's hanging around, but not much luck moving into eastern parts of Ellis County or Navarro County here, but Hill County getting plenty of heavy rain. I mentioned this morning in that video that we have soil that's fairly saturated at this point. We had those couple of weeks of just back-to-back storm chances and a couple of days of pretty decent rain, especially that Sunday after the Saturday that was so disappointing. Then the Sunday we got a lot of rain. So for these, especially our southern counties here, there is the possibility that any kind of torrential rains, or especially training rains here, could become a flood issue. So that's what we're watching here. I want to zoom in on a couple of things here. A couple of things that I'll say is, first, if you will share this stream, make sure that folks in this area are informed and see what's going on. The other thing too, and I mentioned this many times before and I'll mention it again, if you're watching on Facebook, if you'll go over to the YouTube stream, go over to the YouTube channel. You can find us at South Metro Weather on YouTube. In fact, I'll see if I can grab that link here for you. That is a great place to find better, I would say better coverage, much better coverage of, or better, well, not better coverage, but better quality, I think is the best way to say it. So if you're on Facebook, and I'm going to post this link on the Facebook stream there in the comment section, then that will enable you to, again, get better quality. The video on Facebook is just not quite there, and I've had so many people tell me that when they watch this stream on YouTube, the quality is that much better. And the other thing I'm posting in the Facebook, well, I'll really post this everywhere. This other link, the second link, is the radar-only stream. And that allows you to see what's going on behind me, see what's going on radar, without having to actually watch me and watch the in fact, I need to adjust something on that stream here just briefly. It allows you to actually watch everything and see all that amount of detail without having to try to look around me or wait for me to show the whole area. It just gives you an overall view. It's not very zoomed in, so you may not see every community listed there, but if you know where you are, you'll be able to see your community and see where in your area it is, where in the area you're going to actually see the storms coming through. So, but yes, definitely go watch this stream on YouTube. The quality is better, and we're trying to actually build up that resource right now. And man, I'm trying to get this stream to work with me on this radar only stream, and it just the radar will not move the way I want it to. So, trying to make sure the whole area is visible there. And I have to do that on another computer on my desk. So I apologize, I'm kind of going back and forth here. I just want to make sure that that is clear for you guys. Okay, that's good. So let me get back to the radar here. Perfect. So there's a couple of storms that I'm watching at this time, and a couple of other features. One, like I said, is this storm moving into the Abbott and West area right now. Another is this storm moving into the Ferris area and just moved through Red Oak, going to be moving towards Palmer and Ennis here over the next several minutes. That one is kind of moving to the southeast. But if I put this back into motion, you're going to notice this outflow boundary here that is moving to the south. And so as that continues to do so, that could help storms intensify. So that will also possibly push some storms a little bit more southward, which I think is why this one is taking that track. So that could affect storms as well, and then later it could cause storms to weaken that are behind it, that fall behind, because number one, they don't have the outflow boundary fueling them, and two, it cuts them off from that inflow. So this is the reason that storms pop up everywhere, and then they get really strong, and then they quickly weaken. It's kind of just chaos, and it's back and forth, and it's up and down. So it's not a consistent thing, and thankfully, the storms that become severe normally don't stay there very long, but it can also make it hard to catch them, because by the time a warning is issued, a lot of the time, they're already starting to scale down. So you have some grace as well with the folks at the National Weather Service who are warning these storms. And we'll get a broad view here of north central Texas, and you can see storms from Brownwood on over to Hamilton here, on up into our area, and severe thunderstorm warning there in the Plano area as well. You can see a bigger outflow boundary moving out here from Denton to just outside of Weatherford, just outside of Granbury there. So these outflow boundaries, they cause kind of this chaos. Now, of course, later tonight, as I mentioned, we will have a cold front moving in. Once that pushes through, overnight we won't get much cooler, but tomorrow you will definitely feel a difference when it's not as humid, and the highs are only in the upper 70s. So tomorrow is going to be great weather for our particular area. So if you can just hang on, we had nearly 90, well, really past 90 degrees today, and fortunately tomorrow will be much more pleasant across our area. Let's check for hail cores here, and I don't see the gray that we saw over the last few minutes. So we are seeing some red here, so that could be small hail, possibly dime-sized hail. I would think that maximum we might see some nickel-sized hail, but again, we're starting to see this storm maybe swell up again. So we could see a warning for this storm over the next several minutes if it continues to strengthen as it approaches Abbott and West, crossing I-35 there. And a couple of just heavier downpours, possibly some small hail mixed in. Nothing major at this time. And then this storm in northern Ellis County appears to be weakening as well. We'll take a look at the loop on that. Just a couple of kind of pulses there of some stronger winds, but stronger winds and larger hail possibly, but really nothing to be concerned about in detail at this time. But as I mentioned, when we're talking about Hill County, I just want to focus on that area and put this into motion. And you can see that the rain has just been training, especially from Blum over to Itasca, northern parts of just north of Hillsboro. Over the northern part of the county, it has just been heavy rainfall after heavy rainfall, downpour after downpour. So it's not surprising that we are looking at those flood concerns in that area. Looks like I'm just getting the thunder now. So overall, we don't have any major severe weather concerns at this time for our area. And really in Navarro County has been largely untouched at this point. There's going to be plenty of clouds moving in, but it looks like everything has kind of fallen apart and dried up as it's attempted to enter the county. Ellis County getting some of this now, and I think this outflow boundary is helping to destabilize the air over Ellis County, so it could be more rain and thunderstorms in that vicinity. But like I said, back here, back to the back, behind Stephenville, behind Granbury there, west of, really on the west side of Fort Worth, up to Flower Mound, you see this line back behind that is developing. That is allowing for, that could possibly be the cold front inspiring a new line of development there. It seems pretty well focused, but time will tell. What has me doubting it is that this outflow boundary continues to the west. I would think if it's hitting the cold front, it's probably going to get interrupted. Hasn't done that yet. So we'll continue to watch this, and of course I will be monitoring all of this activity over the next several minutes, but no new warnings coming out for Ellis County or Johnson, Hill, Navarro, none of them. Especially Hill County, where all the activity is right now. No new warnings there. We are under a severe thunderstorm watch, but only until 8 p.m. So the watch itself expires in 1 hour and 20 minutes. So really, we're not looking at a late night event here, which is nice. We all get to go to bed on time tonight, wake up tomorrow to gorgeous weather. And I've got a couple of things I'm doing tomorrow, so I'm very excited to be out and about and enjoying the much more pleasant weather, and it will warm up when we get into next week. But for right now, we just have to deal with these showers and thunderstorms that are just kind of out all through the area. Now in Ennis, I know that there's a graduation happening there. There's probably different events going on across the area. And if you're in Ennis, so far, so good. Now, what I will say is that this storm is moving your direction, and it doesn't look to be slowing down too quickly here, so just keep an eye on this complex as that continues to move on to the southeast. I don't know what time those things start or what the case is, but as it continues to move off to the southeast, that storm will need to be watched as you're setting up for that graduation ceremony in that area. I'm going to go back through the comments and we'll see here what folks might be saying. Coming towards Blooming Grove, the thing is you're getting a lot of clouds there, but there's not a lot that's actually going to reach that area. And in fact, I think we're getting this heavier cell here at the studio now. This storm right here is impacting the studio right now. And we'll actually zoom in on that one. So really from Waxahachie up towards Trumbull, just moved through Rocket, going to be moving through the Ike area now, just outside of Pecan Hill, just on the west side of Palmer, and pretty heavy rain. I'm not seeing any hail falling from this, just a pretty good downpour. So again, if you're in the area where these downpours are coming down, the soil is pretty saturated across our area. So, and again, maybe not necessarily in Waxahachie as much as Corsicana, Hillsboro, Blooming Grove, Whitney, those areas to our south, those southern half of the area. That would be the area that I would be mostly concerned about flooding. But flash flooding can happen with these quick downpours. So with this storm, looks like it is intensifying. That will continue to move on to the southeast, towards the Rager Springs area, towards Garrett, and yes, towards Ennis. There's a Howard down here, Bardwell is what I'm trying to get out of there, Ensign, all these areas. So this storm will continue to move to the southeast. And again, I'm not seeing any hail from this storm right now that's currently just right outside the window, but plenty of heavy rain. And I mean, it's already filling up the sides of the street too. And I'm pretty sure this is the first really big rain we've gotten today. So it's going from nothing to, it's starting to pool on the sides of the street. So plenty of downpour to come out of this storm. So just keep that in mind. And there's the little clap of thunder there. So just bear in mind, if you're in Hill County, you are under a flood advisory at this time. That will continue probably, let me see if I can get a time on that flood advisory, until 8:45 p.m. So just past the severe thunderstorm watch. So really it should be around that same time frame that things are clearing out. So let's get back into the comments here, just see what has, what the conversation is. Yeah, lots of thunder in Tellico rather. Okay, yeah, whopper of a thunderbolt in Rocket. I'm pretty sure that's the one I probably just saw. I could see a flash, but I didn't see the bolt. So it was probably on the other side of the building here. And yeah, I'm not seeing any hail coming out of this. We can actually check. We'll check for hail cores again, just all across the area, and see what we're finding. So as you get to Abbott and West, this storm does appear to be picking up. So it's going to continue on to the east. So just be wary of the fact that we could have some dime, possibly nickel-sized hail from this storm as it moves towards Abbott and West there. This storm that's impacting me, looks like there could be some small hail, maybe pea to dime-sized hail from that storm in Ellis County, but really not much coming out of that right now. Like I say, I'm looking at it, I'm just getting rain at this point, just northeast of Waxahachie. So that's really what we're looking at across our area. Nothing too intense at this time, but really the main concern right now is going to be the possibility of flooding. There's a question about Corsicana, and really, Corsicana has not gotten anything yet tonight, possibly some sprinkles from some of the anvils that are blowing off of these storms over Corsicana, over Navarro County. But if I put this into motion again, you can see that storms have struggled to get into Navarro County tonight. That was the case for a long time in Ellis County. Now we'll have to wait and see if this storm can continue on, possibly move towards the Alma area, the Rice area, continue on possibly towards the Kearns area there as well. So time will tell what this will do, but not much moving towards the Corsicana area right now. So if you're in Corsicana, so far so good. You have been pretty well exempted from most of this activity, but time will tell if that will change. A question about Ennis, and that's what we were just talking about, is this storm moving towards Ennis right now. So pretty good storm, pretty good downpour moving towards the Ennis area. It's not severe at this time, but there is a pretty good downpour moving towards Ennis right now. And I will continue to keep an eye on this backside here, the backside of this development. It hasn't really done much yet, and like I've talked about, this is the main show. This is the main storm production here, and this is probably helping to stabilize the atmosphere and limit any future development from becoming too severe. So it's likely tonight that I think any kind of severe weather threat we're going to have will definitely be limited to the time period prior to 8 p.m., which again is when that severe thunderstorm severe thunderstorm watch does expire. No warnings are across our area right now. I will continue to watch this, but just keep in mind that if you're in Hill County right now, plenty of rain there. There is a flood advisory. Things are quieting down or calming down a bit in Johnson County. It looks like we could have some more development coming in there. Storm is moving towards the Ennis area and rain filtering into the Waxahachie area now. Could have another round in Midlothian. Heavy rain right now in the Maypearl area. And then again, Storms have struggled to get into Navarro County, but that could change over the next several minutes. I'll have continued posts and updates for you on the South Metro Weather page. So stay tuned. And last thing that I'll say is if you have not yet subscribed to South Metro Weather on YouTube, go do that now so that you get better quality video when we go live or post a forecast update in the mornings. Make sure that you're following those things so that you get the best quality and we can put our best foot forward as a brand as we continue to cover severe weather for this area.